Let's talk about ghetto fabulousness. We love the slang, the fashion, the hustle, but are we glorifying the pain, the poverty, the prison in the name of authenticity? From trap beats to baby hairs, from real ones to RICO cases, we're unpacking the dangerous line between representation and romanticization. Not everything from the struggle deserves a spotlight. This is deeper than aesthetics. This is about how we shape identity and legacy and what we call real. Hit that subscribe button on Truth Talks Live and buckle up. This is Truth Talks. Let's go.
Are y'all ready to roll? Let's go.
All right, Truth Tellers, it's going to be an amazing episode because Eboni K. Williams is here.
Hello, Torre. So good to be with y'all again.
And Gerald Griggs is back.
It's always great to be with y'all.
And that concludes all the reasons why it's going to be a great show. Cheyenne is also here.
And Torre, unfortunately, I got to do a whole nother episode with you, your whitewashed curls, and your whitewashed perspective on things. But because Truth Talks is the Black voice, we, myself, Eboni, and Gerald, are going to do a real good job of keeping it very black with your white ass. Let's go, y'all.
The blackest person you know. You better figure it out. Carnival Cruise, moving on to trending truth. Carnival Cruise Line has a new set of rules for their cruising. They've instituted a ban on the fans used in the lion dance boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. The fan clacking is a big part of a lot of black dancing. If you go to any Renaissance Beyonce show, clack, you're going to hear that. So they say that clacking sound is causing injuries in crowded areas. That's kind of weird. The cruise line has also banned Bluetooth speakers. Okay. And there's a curfew of 1 a.m. for people under 17. I don't know. That doesn't sound so bad. Carnival's getting backlash, though, from a lot of people in the community, in the black community, who are saying the new rules seem to be culturally insensitive and disproportionately targeting us. Listen to what folks on Ricky Smiley's show had to say about it.
A lot of cruise lines are banning rap music. Yeah. They're banning the wobble. They're banning boots on the ground. You can't even bring a fan on board now. Mm-hmm. And it's I don't know why everybody's scared to have a conversation.
I mean, it's uncomfortable because it is. I don't think it's a black thing. I think it's a black culture thing. And you know, we've had this conversation before where we talk about it's certain elements within our culture. We got to be honest about that. Like if you were to go to a Delta Sky Lounge, a lot of people have been to Delta Sky Lounge.
Chill.
If you drop that price to $29 for Delta Sky Lounge, within a month, that's going to be a whole different experience in the Delta Sky Lounge.
Yes, but a lot of people are getting tired. We have that one clip. Yeah, listen to this.
They sick of y'all. And before y'all get on here talking about they racist, they hate black people. No, they hate. That's what they hate. I hate them too. Y'all don't know how to handle yourselves. Y'all get on here, get drunk, get to fighting, being disruptive, disturbing all the other passengers. Like, y'all act like y'all have no home training. Like, everywhere don't have to be a party. Some people pay for this just to simply relax. I'm with all the rules. Ban all the
I'm going to say this and I'm going to get the up out of here. So I know I'm finna a lot of off with this one. I pay for my son to go to school so I won't have to deal with you garbage ass. I pay extra taxes to live in the neighborhood because I don't want to deal with you ignorant. I don't want to cut their grass. I don't want to deal with the got broke down cars in their yard. I don't want to deal with the get their trash can out the middle of the street. I pay so I can live that way.
Come on. Yes. She said what I've been thinking a long time. You know how you've been thinking that, but you can't say it.
No, you. This is a weird one for me, Dr. Bryant.
Listen, I love my black people, but I can't outstand niggas sometimes. And that's just the truth. And I lived in Atlanta for a few months filming season 1 of True Talks. And someone said, how did you like it? I said, I actually love the black people in Atlanta, but I didn't have a good experience with the niggas in Atlanta. And there's a big difference. The scamming, the fake parking tickets that were on my car, the the conflict, the aggression that came with a group of niggas versus the Black people who were having effective conversations, who were very respectful, who were trying to show me the city and introduce different places and different environments to me. And they kept saying, maybe you were in the wrong area, Doc. Maybe. Where I lived was a great area, a great neighborhood. But point of what I'm saying is, I think that it can be a cultural sensitive piece to it. But I also think that there are some things that in using the word they're using, that niggas do, that are not always appropriate for certain environments and certain places. I mean, go ahead, Tori.
The notion that Black folks don't know how to act, or some Black folks don't know how to act, or really what we're saying is ghetto or working class people are pathological and don't know how to code switch into middle class situations. I reject that entire notion entirely. I think that's a very white supremacist way of looking at the world, that there's Black people and there's niggers. You know what I mean? Like, there's certainly some people who may, like, you know, not know where they are in certain moments. But I mean, I don't walk around the world and encounter Black people who I'm always like embarrassed by. Like, I'm proud of all of us.
They are. Describe that, Torre. I like, because you said there's Black people who don't know where they are in certain moments. So what are you calling those Black people?
When you say nigger, right, you are
no. Wait, hold on. When I say nigga, you mean hold on. When I say nigga, not nigger. Nigga.
Well, that's an entirely different thing, because niggas are cool. They are my friends. I refer to people I love as niggas, and I receive that. But
that's subjective. I never said niggas were not
cool. What Chris Rock is talking about when he's there's Black people and there's niggers.
I didn't say niggas were not cool. I said doing nigga shit is not appropriate in certain environments. You're calling it code switching.
But I don't know what nigga with an A shit is. What is that?
Correct. To you, it's cool. I'm not saying that if I'm in a certain environment, or if I go to the inner city, or if I'm at a day party, or if I'm at a club where they're bottle popping, that there isn't a certain type of nigga shit that goes down that most of us can't enjoy as Black people. What I'm saying is that if I am in a conference, or I'm on a cruise ship like what we're talking about, and I have my Bluetooth there and I'm blasting it at level 30, knowing that there's other people, neighbors next to me, and I don't care if it is sounding through the entire hallway, that is some nigga shit. I'm sorry. That is something that
you kind of lost the plot for me, because the word, Ebony, we generally talk about niggers, right? And that we don't like niggers.
About that on here.
I'm like, I reject that whole notion. Like, I don't see Black people as pathological. I don't judge people from the hood as like lesser than Black people.
We're not talking about a hood, Torre. We're talking about a behavior. We're not talking about, let me tell you something. You got rich niggas. You keep trying to go into a socio-economical space or a hood or a demographic. You have niggas who make millions of dollars. Let me explain something to you. I do very well. I went from the hood to the hills, and I do beyond well. There's still some times where I got some nigga behaviors that I do that I am able to manage and know that behavior is not appropriate for this environment. It's appropriation. Why do we as Black people have such a hard time with calling each other out, or even ourselves out, on things that are just not appropriate in certain environments? I'm sorry. I'm not going to go.
Can I jump in here right quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we're having this conversation like this is only centralized to Black culture.
Come on.
And my issue with what Carnival is doing is labeling things based on culture and not banning things that you might see in other ethnic minorities or even a majority community. And that's the issue that I'm having with this. Do I agree that there are some behaviors, regardless of class or anything like that, that do not have their place on a Carnival cruise? Yes. But to blame the fan popping and the Bluetooth speakers and all this other stuff, there are other things that other cultures probably do on a Carnival trip that also should be on this list. And when you focus solely on Black culture, we don't use either word, the R word or the A word, because they don't have any place anyway, should really be called into question. So I disagree with Rick. That's my good friend, great friend, Ricky Smiley. I disagree with Rock T, who was making the points. We have to drill down on the fact that, yes, there are certain behaviors that all communities do that are not appropriate, and maybe we should ban those on a Carnival cruise. But we shouldn't pinpoint black culture or something that perceived to be black culture and ban that. That's discrimination.
Carnival Cruise has a statement trying to address the situation. Please know, they said, that this is not correct. Please ignore what you may have seen because of the different musical tastes and interests of our guests. We are now extending theme nights in our nightclub venues and will play music that fits with the theme for the evening, including R&B, dance and pop hits, blues and funk, Latin and soul, and 80s and 90s hits, rap and hip hop, among others. You don't need to say rap and hip hop. They are virtually the same thing in that context. But it seems like they're clearly trying to say this is not racialized at all.
Whew, I just needed to breathe. This is a lot, right? And I think we all are bringing a lot of energy to it, rightfully so, because there is so much intersecting in this dialogue. We are talking about respectability politics, obviously. We're talking about generations long, centuries long racialization of Black culture and Black behavior. We're operating under, I think, an auspice and a long-held mythology that says we can behave ourselves into being humanized as Black people, which most of us know to be false. And then I guess I'll start with where Gerald took us, which is my greatest beef. And I totally disagree with Ricky, and I disagree with the Chris Rock premise. And I don't think anything is subtle about his white supremacy, as I've said publicly before. That is when you say, as I saw him say in his most recent stand-up in New York, that your house valuation is depreciating because too many Black folks are moving into your neighborhood, as somebody who just went through a very difficult underwriting process, buying, by the way, on 122nd Street, one of the only Black people in my current building, I have a serious motherfucking problem with it when we are addressing a national wealth gap conversation in America. But I digress. Here's my issue. When we talk about shit, okay, we never talk about white behavior. I'm specifically talking about white behavior because sometimes it'll creep into Latina behavior, right? Sometimes, you know, if they're congregating amongst themselves as a Latin community and they got the music, we might feel away. Sometimes Asian people, but we never ever demonize, criticize, or hold any critique around if they were blasting Journey, for instance, on a Carnival cruise, or they were blasting Taylor Swift. Correct. So this notion of inappropriate behavior only conveniently seems to show up when it is Black folk participating in it. And that is my ultimate problem. So no, personally, I don't have a distinction between Black folk and them, because it is too obvious to me, okay, the very historic nature of, you know, and I don't police other Black folks' use of the term. So we can do that internally, and I have no position on it other than acceptance and love, okay, because I presume best intentions when we are doing that amongst ourselves. Absolutely. The problem with Carnival is that they are not of us. So when they cherry pick this behavior, this fan, this socializing tactic, it is totally racialized. No different, and I'm about to wrap it up, than when we see our current Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, whatever.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hegseth, yeah.
Saying that now in the United States military, we're not allowed to wear eyelash extensions. We are not allowed to wear fingernail polish outside of clear, and guess what? The French American manicure, which literally is an overt statement that says we are centering a white beauty standard in the American armed forces, and you better adhere and assimilate to it or get the fuck out. And that is the slippery slope. I'm almost done. That's the slippery slope of making what Carnival is doing around fans and music okay. And then we want to bring up the Crown Act and talk about discrimination when the United States military does the exact same thing.
Yeah. And I just want to make this clear really quick, because Black people are not the only ones. Hold on, Torre, because I got to clear this up, because Black people are not the only ones who are niggas. I said that the folks who attacked the Capitol, which was majority whites, was a gang of niggas. So when people use the word nigga and only attach it to Black people, that is a problem. When you're doing nigga,
the N-word to white people, the word doesn't even mean anything at that point. So you just
first
mean
of all, Torre,
people you don't like are
this is
niggers.
why
That doesn't even make sense.
This is why I just corrected you when you were saying niggas in the hood or niggas in a certain economic.
It's not niggas. We're talking about niggers. You're not even making the right conversation.
We're talking about niggers. I'm talking about niggas. You keep your word. Don't come in my space on my wordplay. I'm on my
talking about niggas. That's not the conversation.
Listen, Torre, that is not your conversation. This conversation does not revolve around you, Mr. Narcissistic. We are having 4 people who are having a panel dialogue, and my conversation
is what Chris Rock was talking about. Niggers.
You, Chris Rock, and you may relate to each other. What I'm saying is that niggas means that you are doing something either ignorant or inappropriate. And that term can be blanketed for any race or person. In my opinion, you're not me, you're Torre. We do not have the same perception, thank God. When I say niggas do nigga shit, I'm saying a person is doing something inappropriate. A person is doing something that is not deemed for that environment, or it is causing an impairment, or it's causing a consequence. That is exactly what I'm saying. I am describing a behavior. You're describing race. If your mind doesn't articulate that, that is your problem. But niggas could be of any race.
So nigga can be any race. That is the most anti-Black shit I've heard all day. Since the last time I heard Candace Owens say anything.
Good. You know why that's
you're
good?
Associating all bad behavior with niggas, no matter what race they're from.
Hold on. I'm happy with you. You know what? You just proved my point. That nigga is the most anti-Black thing you said. You know why? Because it should be. The word nigga should not be only associated to a Black person. It should be an anti-Black thing, meaning this is not just us saying niggas do nigga shit and we're allowing society to say, well, whenever we say nigga or nigger, we tie it to Black people. No, as Black people, we create that narrative. We say what words are going to be attached to us and what words we are not going to take ownership of. We have agency over our community and we have to stand on that. So when I say that's some nigga shit and I'm driving down my neighborhood, a lot of times it could be a white person, a Latin person, an Asian person doing something that I deem is just crazy, out of pocket, and inappropriate.
So I love Black people too much to do that.
Let me jump in here right quick. So my question is, if we're going to do that and take agency of the word, do we still forget the historical context of the word and how others have used that to disproportionately brutalize our community, to denigrate our community? How do we handle that?
I love that, Gerald. And you just said the reason why I'm saying we should take agency over it, and I have, but other people should as well, Black folks, is because of what you just said. The fact that it was already created in such a derogatory way. And a lot of rap and hip hop and a lot of creatives have already taken agency over and actually made it a word that between two Black people, sometimes it means what's up, brother, or what's up, sister. Some people don't use it, but in our hip hop world, in our rap songs, they're not calling each other a derogatory term. When they're saying this my nigga, they're saying what? This is my boy, or this is someone who I deem to have a relationship with. So yes, that means that because we remember how deeply rooted and negative and derogatory this word was, we take agency over it and we make it be what we want it to be. We don't just clothe ourselves with a word that they have created. And now we are going to say, yes, we're puppets. We're going to just align with whatever they tell us to do. Absolutely not. You can call me any word you want. I'm the one that decides on what that word means for me. Everybody may not have a strong internal locus like that. I do. And I'm vertical in who I am.
Eboni, let me say this 1 second to what Cheyenne just said, Torre, and then I definitely will answer your question. I wholeheartedly respect what you just laid out, Cheyenne. In fact, at previous iterations of my evolution on this word, I've held very similar beliefs, you know, that the autonomy, the power, we can dictate it, we can apply it. My personal challenge currently, I'll be 42 in September, is this. I think that the word is entirely too socialized from a global lens at this station, to where the good faith attempt to assign it, reject it, exchange it, negotiate it in all of the brilliant ways in which you just laid out, I don't think they are socially available to us. I really don't. Now, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant can do and will do as you have laid out that you will continue to do. But I think that the ability for us as any individual Black person, and certainly for us as a collective Black culture, I do not believe there is enough collective power because of, to Gerald's point, the centuries-long history of the word's origin story and all of its iterations, whether it's niggas, nigger, nigga, I just think the roots literally run too deep from a global and American societal perspective for the actual ability to control the application in the way in which you describe, Cheyenne, to be there. That is just my experience.
No, totally, Ebony, and I want to receive that, Teray, because I receive what you say, Ebony, but people are not going to stop using it. I know Teray just going over top. People are not going to stop using it. So since they're not going to use it, we need to make sure that since our community is not going to stop using it, because what I say, Ebony says, Teray or Gerald says, then we need to make sure that we are in front of it, that we are taking agency over it, that we are making sure we're defining it in the way that we want to use it. There's nothing we're going to say on True Talks or any platform that's going to make our community say, we're just no longer going to use the word nigga. That's not realistic. So because of that, we have to be able to join our people, meet them where they are, have them meet us where we are, and say, let's create this word so that it is going to be used in a way where we have agency over it.
So there's two different words, and we're trying to conflate.
Please don't backpedal on that
conversation. And nigga with an A and nigga with an R are different words. They mean different things. They're applied in different situations. I have experienced, as you alluded to, so much love, especially coming from Black men, older than me, using the word nigga. I have experienced so much anti-Black hatred within the community around the word nigger. And I reject the whole notion that there are some Black people we should be embarrassed or afraid of or are ruining it for the rest of us. There's no Black person who could set us back. That's the entire notion is ridiculous. Nothing of my conception of Black people is changed by anything that people who you might say are niggers would do. I still love Black people no matter what any individual Black person does. Nobody can take us back. Nobody can embarrass me. So, there's the whole notion of niggers as Black people who embarrass us is completely bizarre to me. And it's incredibly anti-Black. And I just can never participate in the notion of there being Black people and niggers. It's so reductive and white supremacist.
But you say nigga all day long. You say nigga on True Talks. You say nigga this, nigga that. But you don't want to play in. You don't want to play in the white supremacy or the white. But systemically, you use the word more freely than anybody on this show. Nigga, you Dimitri. You know how many times you call Dimitri? What's up, nigga? Or nigga, please. You're the main one who uses it. Is there an internal? Do you have an internal struggle or an internal struggle between your white supremacists that you are unaware of and the Blackness that you're trying to portray on here? Because you the main nigga that use the word nigga all day long. You the main one.
I just don't understand how you have 6 degrees and they're two different words.
You the main one. Nigga, you the main nigga, nigga. You the main nigga, nigga. Now what? You the main nigga, nigga. You have a lot of divisive
words.
Because you have a divisive internal compass that 1 minute you're talking as though I'm this Black scholar.
You do understand that they're two different words, right? They're two separate words. We use them differently.
You don't understand that. I have been talking about nigga with an A this whole time. You keep going back to your own internal compass of
conflating the two things.
You keep going there.
Bizarre, Gerald.
Okay,
it's I'm talking to somebody who cannot intellectually comprehend what I'm saying.
We're moving on because the main nigga Teray is doing nigga shit and not taking accountability. Move on, nigga. Move on.
I love doing nigga shit. I do that all day long.
Gerald.
That's my main pocket. That's where I want to be.
Gerald, the main one.
Does not understand
the main nigga who uses nigga got a problem with niggas. And I said niggas just do nigga shit. Move on, Teray.
I just want to know, is this...
Why do I feel like I'm in a...
I'm about to pour myself a fucking drink.
Why do I feel like I'm in a rap battle with Biggie and Pop? And y'all hitting each other up. This is wild. I
got to pour a drink, Gerald.
Ebony, I need a drink. You got your Remy Martin over there? Okay.
Remy Martin, but this tea. I could have got this Kettle One, right? I could have got this great, but I didn't think it was going to suit the moment.
Oh, you could have got some Hennessy.
And Jack and Coke. Jack and Coke.
Where's the
Wait,
Hennessy?
no. Is this uppity nigga shit? What is this?
It might be.
It might be. Ace of Spades.
It might be.
Ace of Spades, girl.
Leave it up to Touré. It's a nigga with an A. It's not the nigga with the R. Leave it up to Touré. But I want to say this on a positive note, Touré. This is the type of stuff, what we just did right here, that Black people, whether we calling them niggas as homies in a family, nurturing word, or Black people, that we do. Only Black people can do what we just did. We just came on here and said nigga shit, Remy Martin, and we got presidents of NAACP on here. We got attorneys. We got one of the biggest, the best journalists, Touré, on here. And we're sitting here. We just showed several different representations of being Black. That is what I love most about us. We showed the nigga shit Black, the articulate Black, explaining the breakdown between the nigga and the nigger and all that. And we all did it here as collective Black people at the end of the day. But Touré, it doesn't negate the fact that you the main nigga that comes on here and does nigga shit. And I'm hold you to it, period. We can move on.
Ebony, you see what I have to deal with?
No, we're gonna have to move on because I love and Cheyenne is right. If only we could contain it internally. And that's where my personal gripe and my personal, trigger shows up. Is because when it's not internally contained, it's lethal. It's literally lethal.
I would like the chat to reflect whether or not people agree. Is nigga and nigger two separate words?
Pour me some, sis. Pour me some.
Same word as Dr. Bryant thinks. There's an entire freaking linguistic Black history around these words that she does not know anything about. But this is the world I live in, Gerald.
Yeah, Touré's a Black scholar, and he's a Black scholar, and the number one word on his word list is nigga. That is so confusing, conflicting. Yes. He has an African degree, but his number one word, Gerald, is nigga. What's up, True Fam? It's your girl, Cheyenne, and yes, season 2 of True Talks is here, and we are turning up even higher.
Yo, it's your man, Touré, the newest co-host on the set, and I'm bringing heart, heat, and hard truth every night.
And we are keeping it all the way fire. Ain't no filters, ain't no fluff, just straight facts. Y'all know how we do.
So stop scrolling and pull up to our YouTube at Truth Talks-Live. Like, subscribe, and smash that bell.
And after you do that, join us because we go live weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern on all the coasts, wherever you are. From culture to controversy, we say what everyone else is scared to say.
We talk truth. Season 2 of Truth Talks. Let's go. Because this time, we ain't asking. We're taking the mic.
Go on to politicking.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is one of my favorite people in the House, and she has not ruled out running in the Texas Democratic Senate primary next year. She has not taken formal steps to that end, but she says she will make a decision depending on how many people reach out. Consider me, my sister, having reached out. She is the preferred candidate among Texas Democratic voters to run for the Senate in 2026. Recent polling has her beating the hypothetical primary field with 35% of the voters. She's very outspoken and fearless, but she's going to have to deal with an incumbent senator and John Cornyn. Gerald, this is tough. She's very popular, but Texas is solidly red. It would be hard for the good sister to become a Texas senator. They haven't gone for a Democratic senator since 1990. Back when Cheyenne was a little baby shy. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, so I love her thought process here, but I just don't think it's time. Now, of course, it would be historic, and I think if there's any person that could do it, it would be our dear sister Jasmine Crockett. But given the politics in Texas right now with the gerrymandering and the voter suppression, I don't see a pathway for her right now. I would love for her to serve a few more terms in the House. She's become a leading voice in the House, speaking truth to power, both apologetically and unapologetically. And so I think she'd be a great candidate. But clearly now, I think her voice is needed in the House until they deal with the voter suppression and the gerrymandering and the attempts to subvert Black voting power and Latino voting power. So I think she should stay in the House for a little while.
Gerald, in a state like Texas, in a Senate race, there's no gerrymandering, right? We both know that. But even if we do things straight up in Texas, it's very hard for a Democrat to win statewide office, right? It's been a very long time. There's just so many red voters there, Republican voters.
Can I push back on that? And I know you directed it at Gerald, but here's the thing about that thinking. People say that about Louisiana, and they just had a 2-term Democrat governor. So I think that it's time that we dismiss this notion that any state, and I'm not saying you're saying this, Torre, right? But I just think this is just a moment of reflection, right? That we should have, that we no longer look at any state, not Georgia, who went blue for Biden, that many people said was the impossible, not Louisiana, who had Governor John Edwards for 2 terms. There's just no such thing as a state that is too red to turn. I don't believe in that anymore.
Well, okay, that's fine. You mean
You mean that's an accurate point? Let me help you out.
No,
that is a fact-based, accurate assessment of the American political landscape. Great job, sis. No problem.
No. Unicorns are real. But it's cool. I love you. I still love you. But hold on, Gerald.
Drunk her Remy Martin. Please don't mess with a sister on Remy Martin. Let that sister.
Because I might have to go on some nigga shit. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Oh, man.
Wow!
But
Let me in this system.
Wow. But to follow up on what Eboni is saying, and I agree with her, my only concern is, being in Georgia, being in the South, and of course, Texas is a part of the South, they pull some tricks in all these elections. And I don't want to see a sister as powerful as Representative Crockett have to endure that until we have fixed the issues of voter suppression. So she has a clear takeoff.
Gerald, we both know that voter suppression has not yet actually changed any election, that Republicans have tried to use that to implement voter laws that are problematic for us, that keep us from voting, but they have never actually shown an election where voter suppression made a difference. But where I want to get you to comment on,
did you not see the election in Georgia in 24?
No, come on. I want to get you to talk about this. I want to get you to talk about 2020.
We flipped the state. 2024, it went back purple. So I mean, I'm gonna push back on that.
Have you proven that in court with Giuliani and Trump? Have we proven that?
We will.
It's on the docket.
You will. But you have not yet. So we still haven't proven that there was an example of voter suppression making a difference. And I think the good sister has a problem that goes beyond any potential conspiracy theory. She's in a red state. But here's the thing I wanted to get you to talk about, Gerald. She's made a lot of her name by attacking Democratic leaders. And she calls out Leader Jeffries. She calls out senators. And she's been one of these people who's saying the Democratic Party is not doing it right. We are not in a wartime mode. We are too pacifist, and we need to have new leaders and be more aggressive. So do you think that some of Jasmine's Democratic colleagues might say, I don't want to support her because she's been attacking me and the leadership?
I think so, but I don't think she cares about that. I think she's a new voice that's powerful and strong, and she recognizes that many people in the political system view the Democrats as weak, and so they need to be strong. And if somebody calls them out for being weak and their response is to be even weaker, that's on them, not her. And so what I'm just simply saying is, I don't want her to waste her political capital in a state where they're going to do some nefarious tactics to keep her from being a senator, where she can continue to lay the groundwork to make it a lot easier for not only to elect her a senator, but to elect more minority representation in the state of Texas. Because again, even though the state of Texas is ruby red, it's a majority minority state.
Eboni, let me couch why I disagree with what Gerald said to you and get your response. Jasmine Crockett has made herself a big Democrat by being critical of other Democrats. That has brought her a lot of attention and a lot of money. She's one of the most famous people in Congress. That means she can go to other districts and campaign for people in their district and help them. So when you have the power to help other people in their elections, they don't care that you dissed Hakeem Jeffries or whoever. I can help. So she's one of the few people, one of the few Dems in Congress who's in power to help other people because of the brand that she's created.
Well, I want to also, yes, and in addition to just internal party critique, she's also been one of the most outspoken and effective voices critiquing Trump and and doing more of, as Gerald said, what even Barack Obama came out last week and said the Dems need to do. Stop acting puss and step the fuck up. So I think that both of those messaging tentacles have been very effective for Jasmine Crockett. I guess this is what I would say about her running for Senate. I don't disagree that it might appear premature and maybe she wouldn't win. But I think that people can run for reasons other than necessarily winning, right? And we all agree, for raising profile, raising fun, I think she's young enough and I think she has enough political capital that I think there is such a thing as kind of staying stagnant for too long. Hold on to your curls on this one, Torre, because I'm about to name a Republican. Okay. I think somebody like Chris Christie is a perfect example of a politician who missed his moment. Here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, you were so scared to kind of take it up. But when you were, when he was big in his own party around the town halls and the this and that. No, but you were pussy. You were scared of McCain. You were scared of Romney. And you let the party sit your ass down, and now you can't get nothing nowhere. So I do just want to cite the cautionary tale of not spending your political capital at an opportune time.
I want to wrap this segment, but I want to say one more thing. I interviewed the good sister in Brooklyn a couple months ago, and as a person who thinks a lot about Black linguistics, when she said to Marjorie Taylor Greene, "You're a bleached, blonde, bad-built, butch body," period, I was like, no, that don't sound right. Like, it's like, I can hear there's another word that you meant to say. And I'm like, she meant to say, to punctuate that with bitch. That's how we do it when we get an invective going like that. And when I asked her, I'm like, I know that you would not say the B word on the floor, but was that in your mind? She said, yes, of course. That was actually the full phrase in her mind, which I'm like, yes, that would make perfect sense to me. All right.
But you have to remember that we finished the phrase for her, specifically the folks here in Georgia.
Thank you, Gerald. Wow.
Hey, everybody. Judge Lauren Lake here. Listen, I need you to head on over to YouTube weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Why? Because your favorite judge, I'm one of the new co-hosts of Truth Talks Season 2. And guess what? We're live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, only at Truth Talks Live. I'll see you there.
Let's move on to the main topic. Is being ghetto fabulous just Black expression, or are we stuck glamorizing struggle? We love the hood look. Cheyenne loves the hood look. Oh my God. The hood talk, the hood hustle, that is her shit. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Are we celebrating what we had to survive so hard that we're forgetting that we were never meant to stay there? The hood has birthed some of the realest, strongest, most brilliant people on the planet. But when we confuse survival with status, we start building culture on pain instead of power. We are more than where we came from. And if keeping it real means keeping us broken, and behind, maybe it's time we redefine real. Let's take a look at where ghetto fabulousness started.
My name is Misa Hilton. I'm a fashion stylist, designer, image consultant, life coach, and entrepreneur. And I want to give a shout out to all the beautiful women for Women's History Month. I discovered my passion for fashion and styling very early. As a young girl, I was a girly girl. I was into clothes and eclectic looks. I would daydream about fashion. As you know, back in the days, there were no music videos. Rap came on Friday and Saturday, and that was it, Mr. Magic, right? And I would visualize looks and clothing that I would wear, at the parties, not the club at the time, at parties, dancing to, these songs. And I would also think about what I would want the artist to wear. Isn't that weird? That was before music video time. So music was a big inspiration for me.
Love to see Misa Hilton. Yes, she's got Puffy's first child, but this is a very important and influential stylist within the culture. She was part of that whole collective around when it was Uptown Records, Puffy, Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell, the late leader of Uptown Records, was a huge proponent and visualizer of what ghetto fabulous meant. And he talked about it as we are celebrating having survived the ghetto. We don't forget and we cherish the beauty and the style, but we're also moving forward and celebrating in an upscale way. And I mean, Mary J. Blige was part of that. Jodeci was part of that. Puff was part of Groovy Lou, Misa Hilton, Andre Harrell for sure. So when we start using a fashion statement in the ghetto that has turned into a lifestyle, why do we start to emulate instead of elevating the ghetto? Like, Gerald, do you think that we are too clinging to ghetto norms, or are we trying to move forward with this thing?
I think it's a little bit of both. You know, as somebody that grew up in Atlanta during the Outkast generation, when we saw the rise of hip hop in the South, and shout out to LaFace Records and all of those, you know, you think back to those times. So we still wear the A hats and all the other things. But I think we are progressing in a way where we're becoming moguls who are influenced in the style. I just think we need to be a little bit more intentional in letting the next generation know, yes, we came from that. And now we're moving forward and we are owning a new reality. So I think we can't get caught up in the past as much. Now, don't get me wrong. I wear my A hat. I like having a Cadillac with big rims. You know, I had one. But now I've graduated up to, you know, something other than, you know, the dunk. I didn't have a dunk. But, you know, we graduate away from that. And so I just think we need to let the next your next generation understand that sometimes you mature out of some of this stuff, but you never forget where you came from.
Doc, what do you think about ghetto fabulousness? And is it a celebration of hood aesthetics or a distraction from some of the systemic traps that marginalize us?
I think it could be both. I think that the hood is a culture that should be celebrated, that people can be proud of coming from and being in with a plan of transitioning out or whatever that looks like for them. I always say, y'all hear me say all the time, I went from the hood to the hills. I don't live in the inner city anymore. I do a lot of work in the inner city through NAACP as president and Dr. Bryant Foundation. But even though I live in the suburbs, I myself went to a Larry June concert yesterday. Not concert, let me tell you better. I went to a Larry June day party. It was worse than a concert, not worse, different. It was a day party that my girlfriends, who are all high-level professionals, who all come from the inner city, we said, we're going to see Larry June. We were in a day party. We had bottle service. We were next to the DJ and we were rocking out. Man, we had a blast. And when I tell you, being in that hood culture with many people I've seen who were like, yo, Doc, it's me. We grew up together. We went to school together, or just, I love your work. I follow you. And let me tell you what I love most about it is the people who follow me now and don't know the little girl from the hood. They just know the Dr. Brian who does well, lives well, has this quality of life. They had this perspective of me that was like, wow, she's down to earth. She's a real one. She gets it. She's not too far where we can't touch her. And when they seen me sitting on top of that couch and I'm rocking and rolling, doing my thing in the day party with Larry June on there, and I knew some of the words and I got my camera out and I'm doing. Look at the two-step. You know, and I had my phone and I'm dancing and doing my selfie. What I'm saying is that they're seeing that the Doc is a part of their culture, that I'm not just standing on a mountaintop advocating for them, being a voice for them and criticizing as well as providing resolve and tools, but I am a part of your culture. Like Gerald said, I may not go back there and I live there and I'm eating, sleeping and pooping there every day. But that's my culture. I'm a little girl from the hood. The hood breeds amazing, successful people. I'm one of them. I'm going to stand on that hood shit forever. Will I go back in and contribute to disparity? No. But let me say this. When it becomes an issue is when we glorify, right, materialistic things without talking or addressing the poverty. I'm going to wrap on this. When we make it, we put on the pressure for other people to look rich, but we absolutely don't have the riches of financial stuff or the wealth within family. That's when it becomes an issue, when we're not able to say, look, we know where we come from. We are part of the hood culture, but we're also going to identify the marginalization issues that are keeping us as a race of people, our community, despaired. So we got to do a duality of knowing that, hey, the hood is a culture, but also saying, how do we not strip the hood of culture? How do we continue to make it something that we can become better in and better from?
And hanging out with one of my favorite rappers, Larry June. I'm not mad at you. Next, we're going to have you listening to the Clips album, because that's what we're all doing in hip hop right now. So please come join us. Let God sort them out. People just walk up to me on the street. What's your favorite song? They don't even say what we're talking about. That's where hip hop is right now. But Eboni, that is not the question. The question really is, are we celebrating ghetto-ness and ghetto culture and ghetto norms within our Black popular culture too much?
Not too much. We should be celebrating it. I'm a very big proponent and advocate of holistic Black identity, because when we start self-editing aspects of our history and of our holistic scope of culture, we service white supremacy. Period. So I'm gonna speak on Cheyenne's beautiful sweater. I look at this sweater, and as she, obviously is in the hills these days, that sweater is Dapper Dan all day. That sweater is Harlem all day. That sweater is Ghetto fucking Fabulous, and I love it.
Sure.
It's very similar to a custom piece I had Dap make for me when I was in my first season as the first Black housewife on Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's hot pink and green. Shout out to the swords. And I'm doing so much when I wear that, right? I'm honoring my sorority, the first Black sorority on an HBCU's campus at Howard University. I'm also shouting out the ghetto fabulousness of it all in DAP and the history of that. And I'm confronting New York, who had the audacity to try to ostracize this man for being the creative Black genius that he is. So I say more and more and more, and all of the Ghetto Fabulous celebration, because and I think those of us, and I'm gonna group all of us in this, we really represent cultural elders to some extent at this point, right? We are to an extent gatekeepers of, what should be encouraged from future generations. And I think it's very important that we don't finger wag in this moment, that we don't try to police in this moment what parts of our culture and history absolutely need to be ushered in, welcomed in with open arms as the young folks take our culture to the next level.
Yeah, she's absolutely right that the usage of the logo on the sweater is absolutely what DAP was doing and what Louis Vuitton, Gucci, them were not doing before he showed them.
No, they were suing him, Touré. They were fucking taking this Black genius to court.
But this is absolutely the aesthetic that he introduced to them, that he showed them would work for their stuff. Gerald, have we been hoodwinked into thinking hood rich is enough? That's real money. Like, it seems like the younger generation sometimes wants to embrace hood culture rather than aspire to something higher, like, say, a Will Smith mansion in Beverly Hills sort of existence.
Well, I think we don't do enough to educate the next generation on what Ghetto Fabulous can lead to. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think Ghetto Fabulous, from being able to move from the hood to the suites, is Master P. And so when we having that real conversation, you can remain true to where you come from, but you can elevate the culture to ownership. So we got to make sure we are instilling in them, this is an entrepreneurial spirit that gets it from the mud, but you can't always stay in the mud. You got to elevate the mud till it becomes dirt and red clay. Shout out to the South. But, we just got to make sure people understand we came from this. We appreciate the ingenuity and the intelligence to get out of this, but also to keep who you really are. So I think that's where, as she said, we are now the elders. So I'm Unc now. So Unc is having this conversation about what it means to truly be. And that's why I keep bringing it back to Atlanta, because we're talking a lot about LA. We're talking a lot about New York, but the South has something to say. Okay. And so we got to make sure that we
Andre. All right,
this
Andre.
conversation.
Okay. I appreciate
that. Was important, though.
You remind me, but when we go back to the 90s, when Ghetto Fabulousness and Uptown Records started, it was a reaction to a naked celebration of ghetto-ness that was happening in other parts of hip-hop.
Of gangsterness.
Yes, for sure. And Andre and them were like, we're going to give you fabulousness with our ghetto. So we remember and love and cherish our ghetto-ness, but we're here with champagne. We're here like Puff and Andre were like, dress up. Like, let's not wear football jerseys. Let's look nice and put on ties. And so the whole thing was like this elevation of the look and more sophistication in a classic white sense of it. So they were trying to add fabulousness and upscaleness.
Let's not say white. Let's not say white, Touré. Let's say dandyism, right? Because really, it's a version of dandyism.
I think that they were trying to fit into white society. I think they were trying to say,
presumptive.
I want to be at the Hamptons. Why? Because Martha Stewart and Steven Spielberg are there. I want to be at Mr. Chow. Why? Because the white executives are there.
Conversation with them. They might have wanted to be in Sag Harbor, where there's a history of Black success and elite. I don't know. To just say it was all about aspiring to whiteness feels wrong. But go ahead.
I understand that. I mean, knowing those folks and seeing that time, I think it was. I don't think the move to the Hamptons related to the Inkwell. It related to white people out there, we want our space out there. So we're going to get a, mansion and like have our space out there. Other cultures have appropriated and embraced the hood culture and enjoyed ghetto fabulousness as a fad. Mary J. Blige is one of the people who was one of the icons who helped us understand this, who Misa dressed, who Puffy helped styled, who really was able to represent the ghetto fabulous aesthetic. Let's look at this video with Mary J. Blige talking about it.
I was ghetto fabulous and I still am. So ghetto, so fabulous. And people were threatened by that. And now everybody want to be ghetto fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I see like Mary retains the hood inside of her, but she's here in a, $10,000 Versace dress or whatever. And like, she's trying to move to the next level in all these other ways, but she don't forget, right, Gerald? She don't leave it behind. Like that's part of her. It's part of like, we respect and love the hood, but we're also moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Go ahead, Gerald. I think that was to you. I was just going to say, like, Nipsey Hussle back to LA said, the hood culture is in you. It's not on you. And so it's not something that you walk in a room and say, I'm going to put this Louis Vuitton sweater on and then I can just encompass the hood culture. No, another woman could put this on who has no type of hood affiliation and it doesn't make her the hood or cultured woman. I can put on a completely three-piece suit. And the little girl, Cheyenne from the hood, is in me. And she comes in every room that I step in. And I don't leave her hanging on purpose because she represents every little girl who's still in the hood, every adolescent or woman who's still in the hood who's saying, you know what? Love it here because these are my roots, but I am trying to elevate, like Gerald said. And I represent both of those. And so that is why no matter how far I go up, I try to make sure that my boots stay low enough so people see themselves in me, meaning where I came from, and see themselves in me as far as where they can go. I never want to allow what I become to not get another young girl out of the hood like I was privileged to do so. And I didn't have anyone in front of me. I had to bear crawl and figure it out. I'm the oldest of 7. There was no one ahead of me. My parents were 16 years old when they had me. I want to make sure another little girl, little boy has an easier way out because of looking at a Dr. Bryant.
Eboni,
and so that's important for me.
Eboni, there is an important value in breaking the cycle of hood culture, right? And trying to move us forward a little bit. And sometimes people are like, perhaps there's some accountability the Black community should have for, prioritizing hood culture over college culture. You remember, I'll never forget Chris Rock's joke of, oh, you have a master's? Well, you my master? Which is like, reject your education. I don't care what you have to say. What do you think about that?
Isn't this the same episode where I poignantly named the white supremacy that so obviously comes out of Chris Rock's mouth? I think so. Anyway, I guess I think that there is not really a distinction between hood culture and college culture. Because as Cheyenne just said, as somebody who was on the street corner selling books of food stamps for cash, free lunch kid, whatever. I don't know that people would necessarily look at me and be like, oh, Eboni K. Williams is a hood kid. But I mean, by standard definitions, I am, now that might be shocking to some. And again, making Cheyenne's point, you don't have to wear it. You don't have to speak in a vernacular that necessarily establishes it. It's your origin story. It's the blood that flows through my veins. It's my DNA. It's the chromosomal makeup of my existence. And Liberty is it's a part of her progeny, right? So although she'll grow up, in the hill, literally Morningside Heights, footsteps away from Columbia University, the Ivy League of it all, the progeny, the legacy of the hood of the poverty line of Black America is right there. So to me, it's like we tell this story together. It's an arc. And it's when we start bifurcating and the college over here and the sorority here and the this over there is some bullshit. I can't let this show end and not acknowledge who Andre Harrell acknowledged as one of the godfathers of ghetto fabulousness, which is Michael Joseph Jackson, son of Gary, Indiana, who first gave the champagne music in Off the Wall. In rock. Yes, sir. Yes, this is what Andre said. I'm not making this up. Andre said Michael showed us how to put on the white suit and move on, but still put on the Crip bandana and still always tether it back to, you know, the authenticity of the history of the Black American experience. So I think it just all goes together.
And I want to say, you know, I think it was Sway. I was on Sway in the morning, and he said, Doc, every time someone asks you about being a product of your street father or a product of the hood, you speak about it with so much pride. Hold on. My story of being a little girl from the inner city is not a story of victimhood. You damn right I'm proud to be. It was an absolutely privilege to grow up in the hood, to grow up in the city, to grow up on the block, to grow up as a product of a father who was a street guy, who had street money. That experience isn't an experience that people get. It's an experience that they watch on BMF, that they watch on other shows on the Shy, that they read in the book. People are not privileged to get that adversity. They're not privileged to get that experience and be well-rounded and walk in rooms and say, that is exactly why I'm vertical and who I am. Because the shit y'all talking about, the things you saying about me, your feelings towards me, if you think that is going to touch what I've experienced growing up, y'all couldn't break me if you had a whole damn bulldozer from growing up in the inner city. Like the Bible says, it was good for me that I was afflicted, because those afflictions have allowed me to stand in rooms and be vertical and not waver and not shift and be on my square, 10 toes down, and know exactly who the hell I am. But when you got people who don't grow up in that type of adversity, they are searching for the identity. They are figuring out, can I hang in this? Am I flexible enough? Do I have backbone? That ain't a question that you got to ask me. That's not a question you're going to have to ask my babies. And that ain't a question that I see my father, my mother, or my grandparents have to ask themselves, because we grew up in wealth called family, and we were damn sure in the hood. And I would never want to erase my history of growing up in the hood. It is the reason why I can even, I'm going to wrap on this. The reason why I can so much enjoy and be so grateful the wealth and being in the hills and my mansion and my multi-million dollar success is because the hood is why I can so much be grateful for this and not take advantage of it and use it as a weapon towards people, but understand how much of it is as a tool. Because there's people in the hood right now who we cannot make feel bad about still being there, who want out, who are just trying to figure out, what does that look like? What is the pathway? Who do I call? What's the resource? And for those people, I want you to understand because I'm a manifestor with you, when you do make it to wherever you want to make it, listen, because of your adversity, because of your hood, you are going to be able to be in gratitude much more than anyone who's always had it their entire life.
Gerald, Black culture sells. This is part of what we're talking about with Ghetto Fabulous, and it's a way of articulating a vision, an aesthetic, and then selling that to the people. We're often appropriated all the time. How do we turn the cultural pride that we're talking about that manifests as Ghetto Fabulousness into real, actual power rather than having it flipped into Black exploitation?
We need to make sure that we own the brands that are exploiting this particular area of our culture. We need to make sure we monetize through ownership. And so that's what I want to impart in individuals who have the grind, because again, to get out, you got to have a different type of grind to get out. And so what I want to impart in them is the ability to monetize what they see every single day. Because again, everybody understands that the culture comes from the mud. And so once you understand, okay, this is how I can monetize this, I need to make sure it flows back into that community so we can now uplift the entire community. So we're not just talking about 1 or 2 or 3 people made it out. We've uplifted the whole community. And now we don't have to worry about the next generation glorifying that particular lifestyle. We've uplifted the entire community.
Ghetto Fabulous. This is an amazing aesthetic within Black culture that I was privileged to watch from its infancy. I think it's about celebrating the ghetto and saying, let's move forward. And we look at people like Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, even early Bad Boy stuff. They are celebrating the rise up from a poor beginning to become people who everybody is looking up to, who are classy, who are fabulous, who are doing it big. Just like Dr. B sometimes. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for all the super chats you got coming in. Like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Truth Talks Live. Don't forget to support Black media at Cash App Truth Talks Live, or use any of the links on your screen to help support our show so we can continue to argue with Dr. B again. Get your Truth Talks membership today. Click here on the screen and choose from 3 different exciting tiers. Small businesses and influencers can partner with us by visiting truthtalkslive.com. Black media is under attack, y'all. This show is being shadow banned. So help us out. Support us by telling a friend to tell a friend to check out Truth Talks every night, 8 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. PST. We'll be back every night to argue weeknights